Welcome everyone, Christine here with a Doomstack for Elspeth von Draken in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. You could do this with any army she has. You would need one Imperial Captain or an Archlector. You would need an Amethyst Wizard to lead the army, but Elspeth and Bruckner, who I do have in this army, are not really the important bits. So it is going to be a more powerful army with Elspeth. But to a degree or another, you can do this with any army in Elspeth's faction. Though Elspeth has a lot more mobility on the campaign map, so just worth pointing it out. This is legendary very hard, and what I used here is the teleport command to teleport to the Skulltaker, because I think he is kind of the hardest enemy to deal with a specific army. I don't want to add more armies because given the Hellstorm rocket batteries that I have here, it would just be easier to deal with. Now the important thing, I'll go over all the details later, but the important thing here is we have these Amethyst Hellstorm rocket batteries and they have the Last Rites ability. Effect intensity increases with each kill made by unit. Maximum intensity at 500 kills. Power recharge and reserve per second. And we have a bunch of mages. Let's see how this goes. Now, the battlefield that we do have here is in some ways really good for this type of armies. In other ways, it's not necessarily so great. The reason I would say it's not necessarily so great boils down to just, well, the fact that with regards to this army, you kind of want to hide all your artillery. Take your melee hero, and really Elspeth too here, but we're gonna take our mages, including Elspeth, put them in a different group. We're gonna take Bruckner and put them in group 1, and what we're going to do here is just charge Bruckner, wait until the enemy has tar pitted him, or as much as that is reasonable in this situation. Okay, so just charge in Bruckner. We are going to use Elspeth's little bag of tricks right here to get the enemy to commit to a fight right here. Wait until... Okay, we can do a couple of things. We can give him melee defense. Right in that situation, and we can start casting spells. We can also give Bruckner physical resistance for the life magic, and do a couple of other spells as well. Okay, so now we can start opening fire. Make sure guard mode is on when you're doing this. And yeah, we're going to use a couple of debuffs on Skulltaker. Bruckner doesn't have his ultimate power unlocked over here. But yeah, that's kind of the problem right there. Bloodletters being summoned. Bloodletters are bloodletters. But because of all the healing we can give Bruckner, or you could use an Archlector, it kind of doesn't matter. Just make sure the enemy is...
We are ready. Yes, General. Go!
And there they go. Okay, he might need to pull back. We can stop Skulltaker right there in his tracks. And every kill those Hellstorms are doing regenerates our magic, our magic, which we can use for more healing, more effects.
Reaper's hungry. Take me to the foe.
Well, he's dead.
Mage of Death.
Hardest situation to deal with because most armies would crash by now, crash and burn. And most armies don't have the Khorne physical resistance. Okay, more blood letters. Alright, let's go over here for the kill. Now, the reason I didn't do that earlier, it would have helped protect him. But the reason I didn't do that, these mages are kind of squishy, and Khorne is Khorne in melee, so Khorne going up against a bunch of squishy mages, you know how that's gonna end. Very, very well, right? Let's summon some hawks, that's gonna help us out. Use Elspeth's little magical ability. So he's gone. His army didn't even get close. We just lost Bruckner, bit of an attention, and well, Skulltaker executing the poor bastard. Now, of course, the way you counter this is you charge the artillery, right? That's the obvious, easy way to do it. A bit harder to do when you're getting, when you've got mages constantly casting on your ass every single turn, right? I should have used that ability. What really hurt me here was actually those summons, like, yeah, and not being able to just like, oh, I am going to allow all my guys to get tar pitted, or a good portion of my guys to get tar pitted. It might have also helped to use an Archlector, or a Warrior Priest, because Warrior Priests are pretty damn durable, even more durable than Bruckner. I'm not interested in the melee damage hero capability. I'm interested in a hero that's capable, so of surviving a lot of damage. Now, to be sure, against a lot of different enemies, the Imperial mages are not ogre mages, right? They don't have the same ridiculous level of healing. You do have some healing, but it's obviously not nowhere near as much. So, okay, we got that spawn of Khorne. It's going down. And that would be it. So let's see the post-battle situation. Alright, so I prevailed. Relatively low casualties. Bruckner obviously died. But you look at the Hellstorm rocket batteries, you might think, oh, they're just carrying the heavy weight. Well, not quite. Elspeth did 17k damage herself if we look at the other mages, even though I was obviously casting a lot of support spells. The goal of this army is to have a bunch of mages, maybe supporting a couple of melee heroes, the balancing of melee heroes. Like, I'd probably say Warrior Priest or 2 Warrior Priests or Warrior Priest and Captain could be very useful here. Equip those with a couple of really good items, and then you can have a very, very easy time over here. But yeah, like Bruckner, oh, he got damaged. Poor Bruckner. He's just gonna be back, no problem. But yeah, that is as hard of a counter I can find in a single army in the game. Imagine if I had thrown this against multiple armies. Like, imagine if I throw it against... Well, I did throw this against the Skaven. Do you know how that worked? It walked off without a scratch. Okay. So what is really going on here and how you can do this? Now, this is not what you'd consider like a Doomstack if you're watching Legend of Total War. Legend of Total War Doomstacks, the ones he's showing, are the most ridiculous armies. But a lot of the armies that he does show are like turn 100 armies. This is turn 31. You might understand the difference. There's a couple of things you will need to do over here. Just toggling Fog of War here, because I use that to, you know, see Skulltaker. So, here's what you need to understand about Elspeth. The main limiting factor in all of this is not hero capacity, it's schematics. So, so the thing that might slow you down the most in this campaign would be getting enough schematics. Because here's what you need. You want all the gunnery infantry upgrades, you want all the Hellstorm upgrades, and then you want a decent number of these Amethyst Ironsides and Amethyst Hellstorm rocket batteries. The Last Rites ability, especially when you're going against, let's say, free armies, multiple armies, all that, gives you infinite winds of magic. Compare this to Balthazar Gelt. Gelt has a lot of powerful spells, but he doesn't have infinite winds of magic. You do. But how do you gain that kind of those kind of schematics? Well, this is where you might have to go and do things that you may not want to do, but you need to fight factions that have gunpowder. So one option could be just, okay, we'll take Fildorf, let's sell that to Averheim, and go just continuously fight Aranessa as an example, right? Just continuously sack her territory, Ikeclaw, etc. So instead of going towards Vlad, you might go over here. Took me a while to figure it out, so I possibly could have done an army like that turn 20. Maybe not the level that it's at. Instead, what I did here is I went to Cafe. Now, how did I go to Cafe? Well, you see, Cafe and caravans go for the Empire. And as long as you're willing to pay, you know, Xiao Ming a lot of money, you can get any kind of fucking agreement that you want. Here I have so much money, like, let me get the trading room. Never bothered with that. I actually had too many trading partners. But you discover, Xiao Ming in particular is the key here. You get vision with him. If you get vision with him and you get good enough relationships with him, you give him money, you get the defensive alliance, then that gives you vision with Gelt. And Elspeth has the Gardens of More mechanic, which she can build in any Imperial held settlement. Any of them. She does have a limit of 5. Maybe she shouldn't necessarily have that. But she can teleport to any of these with a cooldown. And the reason you might want to teleport right here to these is you can get to Cafe. Why to Cafe? Why is Gelt important? Well, Chaos Dwarves and Skaven, both of which are close enough to Cafe, do give you schematics. And again, you do get schematics when you're using gunpowder units in your army, but you get the most schematics when you're fighting an enemy that has schematics. So Skaven, Chaos Dwarves, yes, Dwarves. Like, Elspeth is like kind of hard designed to hard counter Vlad, but the way to gain most power with her is to get the Amethyst Armor as quickly as possible, get those units. That means getting schematics, which means fighting gunpowder action. So yeah, you might want to fight freaking Belagar in this campaign. I'm not saying that would be ideal. I didn't really go out of my way to get any defeat traits or anything like that. Like, I did defeat Azazel, I did defeat Village, etc. And Snitch. Actually, Snitch I just defeated, like, this turn. I felt like I tested out against them. It was a joke. So I was like, okay, what's the hardest challenge I could get? But the important thing is I went after Zaytan the Black. See, if you can teleport in Cafe, and you know Gelt is going to have the bamboo crossing, so you get the defensive alliance with Cafe, you build here at the bamboo crossing, and then you can relatively quickly enough, in this case the Great Bastion was breached and Zaytan was like, wait, just invading it, so I was able to, like, I sold some of this territory to Miao Ying, but Zaytan had like 3-4 stacks. I got thousands and thousands of schematics from defeating Zaytan the Black, beyond his defeat rate. And needless to say, Elspeth is absolutely ridiculous. So that's the aspect with regards to the Hellstorm rocket batteries. But what about the mages? Gelt has infinite mages. Can Elspeth compare to that? No. She can't compare to the sheer number of mages, but she can come close. Yes, I do have a ridiculous... I have warrior priests over here that I should probably leveled up and actually used. I have them just going for growth, because I actually originally thought I needed to get the, tier 4 to get Amethyst rocket batteries, but you don't. You just need to get a bunch of schematics. A lot of schematics. That is no joke. But here's the thing about Elspeth's Gardens of More, if we look at it. Each Garden of More has some structures it can build. One of them gets you Knights of More Electric Hound State Troopers, the other one gives you Militia of More, but the important one is the Amethyst College. This unlocks your recruitment of Amethyst Wizards, but you don't need another Amethyst Wizard. Elspeth is a really powerful Amethyst Wizard. But this gives you hero capacity +2 for Battle Wizards. And with the Empire, you can get the mage recruitment building at tier 2 and increase capacity at tier 3. So if we look at the capacity of wizards over here, you look at warrior priests, engineers, etc. I have a decent amount of them. I think I've completed my short campaign victory conditions, so that's also an aspect. So just defeat Vlad. You might want to defeat Vlad anyway. Just, you know, obvious reasons why you might want to defeat Vlad, but you might also want to butcher Zufbar along the way. Schematics, baby. It's nothing personal, it's just business. But I have 14 battle wizards available. You can make a lot of freaking mages. There is a limit to gardens and more, but each of them gives you 2. And by the time it becomes, like, you won't maintain entire armies of mages as Gelt does, but you will have infinite winds of magic while you're doing so because of the combination of Hellstorm and wizards. Slap together some warrior priests in those armies and captains, which I didn't do here. I went mages. That was a mistake. I admit I probably could have used like 2 captains to warrior priests, right? Removed like 2 of these amethyst iron sides. I'd say 4 amethyst rocket batteries are good, but like you can remove 2 amethyst iron sides, maybe 1 to mages, something like that. I would keep at least 1 unit of Eldred's Guard just to protect these. That's the reason they're there. They're fairly durable unit. Because Eldred's Guard, you can unlock them fairly quickly as Elspeth. You get it through research, so you can get them fairly quickly. So you can make entire armies like this. Well, not quite with the same number of amethyst units, as you just saw there. But you can still get a good amount of them. There's also more. Because, like, you saw me there with a forward deployment, but I could have corner camped. I didn't want to corner camp, but this is like an ultimate corner camping fuck you army. Because, like, anyone approaching a corner held by Amethyst Ironsides, Eldred's Guards, and Amethyst Hellstorm Rocket Battery is going to be obliterated. But that's assuming they even reach it, because against most enemies, you can throw your mages in forward deployment. It's only something like Skull Taker with the highest AI stats modifier that actually can kill them right there. And I didn't have enough melee heroes. And I didn't necessarily level up Bruckner properly. I didn't think it was a priority. But there's more. There is more to all of this. So beyond all the benefits that you get through the upgrades for Hellstorm. So if we look at Hellstorms, we have Last Rites, we have double damage. But let's consider the Amethyst Ironsides, because this is why this is ultimate corner camping army. Iron Resolve cannot die if HP is greater than 50%. Entities cannot die while the ability is active. This is freaking ridiculous. And if you think that you can beat this army with range, no. You have missile resistance, armor, melee defense. So, if it wasn't a case of dealing with Skull Taker, or like 4 stacks of Skaven barely made a dent in this army. Skull Taker is more dangerous because he also has magical resistance. If we look at Khorne units, let's see if there's any other army left for Khorne after all that. Yeah, there is one. You can see that all of them have some innate level of spell resistance, 35%. That's the reason I went after Skull Taker as the demonstration over there. So infinite mages, well, close to anyway, but a lot of mages very easily. Teleportation. So you can get various defeat traits for Elspeth, or you can just go teleport somewhere else, take a territory and recruit a lord there. That's not a problem. Or you can recruit a lord. Let's just let me just show you this. So you can, let's say, you know, let's recruit Toddy, right? And then we press the reset skill point. So in 3 turns he can be on another part, right? So you can play with the Lord on another side of the Empire, and if you want him, and if you're teleporting somewhere else, you built some territory, you want to pass an army along, you can just reset those skills in 3 points and turns they'll be there if you reset the skills. Maybe a melee Lord as opposed to a mage Lord like Elspeth would actually be better. Mind you, Elspeth is a pretty good melee combatant in most situations. Not against Skull Taker, but as I said, she has regeneration. She reduces enemy battle healing cap. So even if you're dealing with an enemy that has a lot of healing, they won't survive that long. You have stand your ground. You can do a lot of damage. You have you have Strider, and you have a breath attack that also does a significant amount of damage to an enemy and sunders their armor. That's the thing about Elspeth. But an Archlector Lord, an Imperial General, they can do this quite well. The one benefit with Elspeth as the general of an army like this is this, the Amethyst Armor upgrade, which increases the Amethyst unit capacity per army plus 3. Because if we look at, let's say we recruit another Lord over here in Drakenhof, right, General of the Empire. If we look at this, we can see that it's only 5. Whereas Elspeth, right, Elspeth gets plus 3, so she can get 8. So that's how I have 4 Amethyst Ironsides and 4 Amethyst Hellstorm Rocket Batteries. So imagine considering the idea that you can't use 4 Amethyst Ironsides and might just have to deal with the regular Amethyst Ironsides or Hockland long rifles or whatever range unit, or just discard them altogether because you might not need them and go more heroes in an army like this. But the key point is mages, variety of magic, lots of durability, healing, debuff effects. It can be a bit annoying to micro, I'm not gonna lie on that. But these mages do offer some very tangible benefits, like pit the shit. Like, these mages didn't even have items. I didn't want to make an army, like, I deliberately did not put items on these guys. I'm lazy on that. But you don't need it. Like, literally, their durability would be better with armor, and if you put decent levels of armor, they will be far more durable, and you can throw them as a big blob into the middle of an enemy army. You might even want to put them on foot deliberately. Why on foot? Because, well, mounts, because they would be smaller entities, so enemies would struggle to target them. Obviously, you lose some mobility, but there's a benefit in that. That's why I prefer using Imperial Captains and Archlectors on foot, mages supporting them. Right, but here's the thing. Each mage does give some kind of different benefit that you may use. So a Celestial Wizard gives campaign line side ambush defense chance and campaign movement range. A Grey Wizard gives ambush success chance, slippery, and stock, right? Amber Wizard gives you plus 10% battle healing cap. Jade Wizard gives you battle healing cap over here. You could go with just like you could just say, okay, screw it, let me go full on life magic if you want to. Just go full on life magic. Each of these increases your healing cap by 10%. So that means whatever you're trying to heal in a battle, be a group of mages or group of melee heroes, can work well. And because of the Hellstorm rocket batteries, if the enemy doesn't attack them, you can continuously cast spells. It's not the same situation as Scrag, to be certain, but then again, Scrag doesn't have discount Dreadquake mortars, because that's what Amethyst rocket batteries are. Hellstorm rocket batteries are. They're not Hellstorm rocket batteries. They're freaking Dreadquake mortars. That's because they have a vortex ability on a hit. That's what makes these things freaking crazy. They're squishier, obviously, than a Dreadquake mortar, but they're a lot easier to acquire in a campaign, I gotta tell you. You don't even need to build artillery building to get these things, right? So that is one of the benefits. Another thing you can also do as Elspeth is also get Amethyst Artillery, if you want to. I personally didn't bother over here in this campaign. I only did it once because I had to unlock a higher tier. But outside of that, yeah, these things, like if we look at this, so they have anti-infantry armor, pierce and vortex missiles. That's why I'm saying these are Dreadquakes, because or maybe not necessarily Dreadquakes, I guess. Yes, Grimgore being Grimgore. Sorry. But I don't have a Dreadquake to show you here, but it's more like magma cannon, so it's like the missile, the vortex is smaller, but it's per rocket. You know how Dreadquakes are crazy because they have one missile that can do an effect on an area around the ground? Well, Hellstorms don't just fire one rocket. They fire many rockets at once, and regular Hellstorms do not have great accuracy. Amethyst Hellstorm rocket batteries do have good accuracy. That is the fundamental difference in this situation between an army that you might make a guild. So these things have poor accuracy, these things don't have poor accuracy. The damage might be lower, but you do get magical attacks. There's the trade-off. So enemy physical resistance gets reduced. If it was an army of demons that isn't Khorne, that would be better in certain ways, right? But yeah, we look at we get 3 shots per volley. 3 shots per volley, right? It does get the damage multiplier versus buildings right there. That's kind of the difference. But yeah, these things are accurate. They do a lot of damage. Like, you can go in battles and get like 1k kills with each of these. And then you combine that with things like Pit of Shades, other spells. Or you look at a Gold Wizard. Let me just go with this. Physical Resistance, Battle Hardened, Start Student, and Tempered Aura for 15 armor and range 2 allies. The Amber Wizard, Nature's Call, Battle Hardened, all that. Summoning those things. The only one I don't think is kind of worth it, like Light Wizard. Yeah, let's just consider Aura of Protection right there. The only one I'm kind of not sold on, I admit, is, let's see if we got, where is it? Do I have, Marienburg probably. So if we look at Marienburg, yes, I did get Marienburg because of fucking course I got the Marienburg. I actually confederate the Marienburg very easily in this campaign. You might get fire resistance with these guys. I don't think that's worth it. You can get flammable attacks, Kindle Flame. Yeah, I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. I mean, you could argue the flaming argument, but yeah, I don't think Bright Wizards are worth it. All the others do offer some fairly tangible benefits. Yes, Bright Wizards are not worth recruiting. Grey Wizards are, Life Wizards are, Light Wizards are, all other wizards. You can focus on a specific school of magic if you want to, or you can spread it apart like I did. That's just a demonstration. I'm just giving you options. But I think this is the craziest thing. You do, however, have to go out of your way to do something that doesn't naturally come to you in an Elspeth campaign. Because if you're playing an Elspeth campaign, naturally you might think fight chaos, fight vampires, fight greenskins. But no, fight dwarves. Questine signing out.